Hey there everyone, this is going to be GamerDave here, and we are going to be doing an updated version of the House of Mouse deck. I have made like 3 other versions from the last one that you guys saw of. Again, that was like in the last year here or so, but anyways here. This is going to be a little bit more different because the last one was kind of like more for fun, being like, hey, you can learn the mechanics of some of the Lorcana stuff and everything else, right? Well, here, still the same, but we're trying to make it more consistent. So this is a 62 card deck right here. You're playing with 12 uninkables, 50 inkables. Let's see here. You're playing with, for Ruby, you're playing 28. Amber is 34. Characters, you are playing 36. 2 to 3 locations. Items is about 5. Actions is 6. And songs 13. So you get to see this. I'm trying to make it more consistent and try to give more utility to this deck here as it is. But without further ado, let's get into this. So, as is a FYI, this deck here is about like $50 here or so. Again, there are some expensive cards here, and I will be pointing them out. Like, for example, like Daisy right here. Her prices have changed since the last time I ever saw this, because I know the first time when I made my video, she was at 14. Now she was at 7, but now she's at $6. Like hanging between $6 to $7 here. Right now, at this moment, she's at $6.69 is where she's at. Our next card that's going to be kind of expensive, again, I said kind of, was the Donald Not Again card right here. He is going for about $1.30 right here, and we have 2 of him. And then we get our other one, the Pie Slinger right here. We have 3 of him, but he is about like, from what it looks like, almost like $2. It says $1.98, but I'm just gonna round up to say the $2. So you got, again, Donald, 2 different versions of Donald being kind of expensive if you're on the budget. Daisy's gonna be the most expensive because she is about like a $6 to $7 card for this pile. But Mickey has his own thing of being expensive, and that's just mostly with the Brave Little Taylor Mickey right here. And at this moment, he is at $3.14. But again, I seen him kind of go from like either $1 to $3. So he kind of floats around there. So he could either be cheap or not, but just depends what you're looking for. As for character wise, the only one I would say that would be also kind of expensive, depending on how you're going around this here as well. It's going to be on Bare Necessities. This card right here, which we're playing 3 of, right here, is about 88 cents. I have seen this card here go from like 88 to $1 or so. So again, give or take, could be expensive depending what you are at. And then lastly, our locations here for this right here. The Legacy card right here, the Treasure Planet ship. Again, I have seen this go from like 58, maybe 70. Again, prices do change throughout all this, so just letting you know, there's some expensive cards in here, some not. But overall, yeah, this is a budget-friendly deck here. Like, if you just wanted to play with some people, but you want your deck to have a little bit more utility. Again, Amber is going to be our utility color, as well as, for items, singing, and all that stuff. And red is mostly going to be like our challenge colors and so forth. So without further ado, we're going to start to get into this here. And we're going to start with the Mickey Mouse pile right here. So just move these all off here to the side. And I'm sorry if there's any glare that you see off the cards here, like how you kind of saw like about right here. I'm working with a spotlight that's above this playmat here. So again, I do apologize. But here we go. So with the Mickey Mouse one right here, we are playing 4 copies of, if I can grab it, True Friend Mickey right here. He is just a 3 stat all around, 3 costs, 3 attack, 3 defense. I know this is called willpower in this game, and it's like magic where it's health, but I call it defense just because, as a shield. This makes it easier for me when I explain stuff. And the purpose why we have True Friend Mickey here is he's an early quester. He quests for 2. And again, this is just for him to put pressure on. An equivalent's kind of like this would have been like Smee and Steel, except he's just cost less and he does the same thing. But again, kind of like that there as it is. Again, he's just here for early questing. But we start to get into our other big Mickeys. This is one of our second ones here. So we have Mickey Mouse here, friendly face. We play 2 of them. And this one right here, he is a cost 6, 1 attack, 6 defense, or 6 health. And he quests for 3. But with our other card that we do have with him, we can make things be a lot cheaper. And again, before I had Lantern going with him and Pluto, but really though, it's kind of hard to make use of Pluto just because of the fact of, you know, he doesn't have any attack, he has very low health, and he can decide quickly. So, you know, I'm just sticking with Mickey, this big Mickey right here. But this is what his effect is. So his effect reads, glad you're here. Whenever this character quests, you may pay 3 less ink for your next character you play this turn. So, the idea with him, since he's kind of a big quester when it comes to Mickey, is this, you're just here to get characters lower in cost. For example, like let's say we wanted to play, you know, Pluto right here, but he is a 7 cost here. So you just minus 3 from here, and this bigger card here becomes a 4 cost here, right? Well, not only that though, but if you want to play with another card that we do have here to play, cards will be lowered down from, what was it, 5 and below ink. We can play this guy for free on top of the effect of having our friendly Mickey here making higher up cards being cheaper. Again, that's the idea of this Mickey anyways. Next one is the big one that I want. This kind of saw the whole deck was the Brave Little Tailor Mickey. This guy is the big one from Chapter 1. And again, one of the expensive cards in this deck. He costs 8. He's a 5 attack, 5 defense. He has evasive. And for people who don't know what evasive means, in a nutshell it says so. Evasive means they can't be touched by other characters. So let's say if I had a mini right here, you know, and somehow, whatever reason, I want her to crash into him, well, just because of the effect of evasive, meaning that, you know, unless you have another character that has this, or other card effects like Grab by the Sword, Along Came Zeus, Let It Go, or what other cards. Evasives are kind of a pain in the butt, but not as much as Ward is, if you ask me personally, but that's just me who says that. And the guy quests for 4 here, so out of our whole entire deck right here, if you're just talking about straight up without any effects, this big Mickey right here quests for 4, so he's our big quester. And like I said, with our true, you know, friendly face Mickey, we could try to make him down lower. And if you wanted to play Lantern, you can go from him being at 3, and he's 5. So pretty much the idea would be is to play him, have him quest, and then we could just bring out this guy with another card that I will talk about later that gets our, you know, other cards that are, you know, characters that cost 5 ink and less to come out for free. So that way we're not playing, like, you know, wasting our whole ink, because, you know, Amber's not known for ramping as it is and so forth. Next, Pluto is just pretty much just a 3 of. I only decided to keep it down to 1. So this is a 3 of right here. And this is going to be the Bodyguard Pluto right here, or the Determined Defender. He's a cost 7. He has 3 attack, 8 defense, higher than even some of our other characters here as it is. Like this Mickey right here, he is at 6. Pluto is our main big beefy defender as it is. He is like kind of like the Chimpo of our Amber deck right here. And this is what it is. So if you will play another Pluto, so you can shift him to play for 5 to make him less cheaper if you wanted to. But again, we are using our friendly face Mickey to make characters like him cheaper. But again, in this deck, you're not really playing with a lot of higher end cards of anything. Like, let me just tell you this here. So like for cost 8, you only have 2 cards. 7, there's only 3, and 6, you only have 2. So again, you're not really playing with high costing cards, but it just helps out. But again, like I said, if you were playing with shift, you can do that. He has the bodyguard effect. And for those who don't know what bodyguard is, just kind of go over it a little bit. So let's say we have our mini right here, our little small one right here, right? We paid 7, and when bodyguard comes out, is this character may come out exerted. And opposing characters who challenge one of your other characters must choose one of the bodyguards is available. So pretty much they have to go through him before they get to your other characters. But what's nice about him compared to like the Tempo and some other ones is that he has a healing effect, and that is GamerDave right here. At the start of your turn, you may move up to 3 damage from this character. So we have other ways to heal in this deck, just FYI, so that way you know. But let's just say he got hit by Along King Zeus, and well, you know, Along King Zeus does 5 damage, which is pretty big. That's that big, you know, I'm gonna kill you kind of card. Well, we can use his effect to take 3 off, so that way they wasted their card of like Along King Zeus, wasted that card where it does 2 damage, and we have other things that could heal him up for either 1 or more. So that way, you know, he's fully healed. And like I said, unless you have like a board wipe effect or dragon fire, bodyguards are kind of a pain in the butt to deal with, but that's what happened. So like I said, Pluto, this is our one that we are going with, as it is. Next we have what I call like the mini package right here, and let's get started. So we are playing 4 of the cost 1 minis. Nothing special about her, so she is going to be used for a shift target. And again, she's just a stat of 1, you know, cost 1, attack 1. Here, let me use the non-foil one so we can read this better. You know, so she's a cost 1 attack, 3 defense. You know, basic stuff. Nothing too crazy with her. Again, like I said, she is here for shift targets, or if you just need to ink something or just have an early character out. Her and Daisy in this deck are going to be that, as it is. But I am going to keep one out so that way you know we're going to have a shift target, as it is. Right there. Next, I call this one here Surfer Mini. We are playing 4 of them because she is evasive, which makes her a pain in the butt to deal with. And again, she is a cost 3, 1 attack, 3 health, defense, and she's evasive. So if you have her out early, just like our other early quester here, Mickey Mouse right here, this one, you just have them as early questers to get like 2, 3, maybe, let's see. Yeah, I'm out for like maybe 2 to 3 turns, so you get about 4 or 6 lore out of her. And again, like I said, she is a pain in the butt just because she has evasive, so she can't be challenged or anything unless you have other effects that say otherwise when it comes down to it. Now we have our 1 copy of Mini in this one, and that is the Compassionate Friend. She is a cost 4, attack is 1, health is 5, and she quests for 2 more. But she has a healing effect that will keep going off no matter what, and it goes whenever this character quests, you may remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. So, like I said, beside her and beside Pluto healing himself, we do have other amber cards of items and songs that heal. She's just a character with a healing effect that's just on the field, so anytime she quests, she can heal other characters as need be, but I only play 1 with her. You could switch her out for something else if you wanted to, but again, I just thought having a character with a healing effect to go for others instead of just themselves would be, you know, not a bad idea to start off with. But like I said, she is, that one is the 1 copy. Next, we have our Drummer Mini right here, and this one's normally a shift, so I'm just placing that so that way you know that's our shift target. And right here, she is a cost 5, 4 attack, 4 defense. And now, the thing is, you don't have to shift with her, but if you want her effect down here to work, you have to shift. So just as a FYI, so it costs 4 to shift, so it's just 1 less just doing that. But when you do shift, with Mini, this is what happens. So, parade order. When you play this character, if you use shift, to play her, you may set your deck for a character and reveal that character to older players, and then shuffle your deck and place it on top. So she is like our main, like one of our like quote unquote, if you come from Yu-Gi-Oh, like a searcher. Again, like I said, if you're coming from Yu-Gi-Oh, that makes sense. She again, she beside her questing, and let's say you do shift with her here, but let's say you need another character or you wanted, I don't know, like a bigger character or something else. So let's say you need Surfer Mini, for example, or some other characters in this deck. Well, that's her whole thing, is that she searches if you go off, her being used as a shift target. So again, like I said, that's the only shift target we really have in this deck here. I did have like the Scuba Diver Mini, but that just depends if you're able to play action cards for her lore to be like 2 that you can get every time, or she questions for 2, or I think it might be the 1 plus, because she only has 1, that Scuba Mini, so it might be the 1 plus the 2 right there, which makes it a question for 3. But like I said, these are the mini cards that we are playing with, just to make it more condensed down. Like I said, if you want an earlier shift, the Scuba Mini would be that, but I like having the ability to search out my deck and just find whatever character cards that I need at the time. So it works out. Next, we are going to go on to the next package here, which I call Mickey Mouse and Friends right here. You guys, I'm going to knock my camera there. So let's go here. So we are playing 4 of Daisy. Again, in the original build I had when I made the video, I only had 2 of her. But luckily enough, I managed to buy some, Shimmering Skies packs, and boom, I got the other ones. So Daisy right here, this is our, like I said, one of our expensive cards, a $6 to $7 card. She's uninkable, but she is a 1 attack and 4 defense. Now, she is a very early game when it comes down to it, because of her effect right here. So whenever she quests, each opponent reveals the top card of their deck, and if it's a character card, they may put it into their hand. Otherwise, they may put it at the bottom of their deck. So depending on the kind of deck you are going against. So like if you're going up like a blue steel deck, which is my pet deck that I have, you can mess up the order if they were trying to find like another popsicle, Fort Sphere, or what other item cards they might need, are they looking for, or something else. Again, this kind of messes up their draws if that's what you're going for. And again, like it says here, they may put that character card in their hand. And again, it's up to them, but still, to mess with your opponent's deck, a little bit at least, is a strong effect, as it is. But like I said, we are playing 4 of her. You could cut this down to playing for 3 if you want to, depending on your budget. But like I said, she is early, just like how Minnie is. And overall, what I normally would do is I would ink the one cost Minnie and play with her if I have her in my hand. And so that way I have a character with effect on. But like I said, Daisy's not a bad one, as it is. There's a reason why she's like a $6 to $7 card. Now, again, on to some of the new cards in this deck. And it's this Donald Duck right here, this 5 cost one right here. Donald Duck, not again. So he has a face shift. He's a 5 cost, 1 attack and 5 health here. But what makes him dangerous is this here. This character gets 1 lore for each damage that he has on him. So you could cut this down either to 1 if you want to, or just take him out. But the reason why I have him is because, well, you may go ahead and challenge him and all that stuff. Use him to challenge like another character that he'll take damage. So let's say you're going against a character that has, 2. Well, guess what? That guy here becomes like a 2 lore or more here. But again, it is kind of a risky play of like high rewards kind of stuff, depending on how you look at him. But he's just interesting, so I thought throwing him in here would be a nice one here. Or you can switch him out for the other. Now I'll throw it on the screen here. Another like cost 3. I think he's out of 3 or 2. Donald. It looks like he's like throwing like a dart or whatever. You can play him if you want to do another shift, but I wanted to keep Donald as, either he gets lore from here or he gets still pissed enough that, your other excuse me here, that your opponent gets, 10 plus lore, and well, he gets so pissed that he gets a big boost attack, which is our next guy right here, the Pie Slinger. Again, there's a shift right here if you want to, but he has a ability when it comes to shift, and that is when you play this character, if you use shift, each opponent loses 2 lore, which is an okay effect, but that's not why you would play this card here for it. Unless you want the shift, then you can do that. But he's a cost 5, plus he's a 3 attack and 6 defense. Now, the one effect that, if you're not doing the shift at all, the one effect that really comes into play is going to be the Raging Duck. And it's while your opponent has 10 or more lore. I mean, that's the whole point of the game, so it's going to happen. This card gets 6 plus attack. So pretty much you have this, 5 costing card right here become like a 9/6 right here, which is pretty nuts when you think about it. Because again, let's say your opponent's been gathering lore because of locations and such, like the McDuck Manor. And the reason why I bring that one up is, well, McDuck Manor has 9 health for whatever they call for locations. Well, this guy could just come in here, swing on it, and that location's gone, or some other locations, because that's the name of the game. You get lore as you go, and it's always going to happen when you get 10 plus, no matter what. The only thing that would suck is that if you have, what was it? And the fact that that everyone loses like 1 and it goes from 10 to 9. But again, like I said, the effect would go away, but then come back as soon as someone else has 10, or if you're playing with multiplayer, someone's always going to have 10. So like I said, Donald here is like one of our challengers just because of that fact. Because again, he only is questing for 1, but you're not going to be using him to quest like that there. But I am going to keep one of him out just because. Speaking about challengers here, we are going to talk about another favorite card of mine that I would say, if you just want the game free lore, it's going to be Super Goof. Again, we have 4. And Super Goof is this right here. So he's a cost 4, attack is 2, health is 4. So he has the rush ability. That just means he can just challenge right away as soon as he's set. So he doesn't have summoning sickness, or his ink needs to dry out or anything. But what's important about this is that you have this. So Super Peanut powers is when this character challenges another character, gain 2 lore. Now, another equivalent to this here, if you're wondering what's another card that's like Super Goof, that would be the new Calhoun, aka Fix It Felix's wife in Wreck-It Ralph. She has something of the similar effect, except instead of challenges another character, so just challenging by itself, it'll be banished and then gain 2 lore. I always found this card to be better than Calhoun just because of the fact of, yeah, she might have 1 resist, but thing is, she's at 3/2 instead, like something like this right here. And of course, that's fine for, a 2 cost character, but again, I'd rather just get free lore for just challenging, so just crashing, because you're not gonna use Goofy here for questing, because again, he only quests for 1. If you're gonna be using him, you're gonna be using him for pretty much just swinging in or crashing into people and such. That's really the idea with it as it is. But like I said, Super Goof and Donald right here, these are like our 2 challengers when it comes to it. You could use others, like there are other cards like Mickey Mouse where he could gain more attack just because there's another card of Minnie, but I kind of find that gimmicky, so I don't really use that one. Again, I will throw that on the screen somewhere so you can see what I mean. And same thing with Dancer Minnie. They're the same kind of cards like that, but it's whatever. But we're going to skip, instead of doing the action song cards here, we're going to skip on to the items and such. Because this right here is going to be going with these 2 here. So first off, our first item right here we are playing one of is this right here, the healing decanter, I don't know, but the healing potion, I'm just gonna call it. This is just a 2 cost here, and when you tap it, you may remove 2 damage from chosen character. Again, just like how you have mini right there, this is another way we can heal, except just in the item form. Nothing too special, just like I said, healing as it is. But now this is where we get into our challengers here as it is. So there are 2 talismans and 2 weights. So this is what the idea is for this, so that way you can kind of get the idea. It goes like this. So we're going to start with the weights, and then we'll talk about the talismans. So the weight cards is this here. So it's a 2 cost, and this is what it is. So medallion weights, discipline and strength. When you tap this and pay 2 ink, chosen character gets 2+ attack this turn, and when they challenge another character, you may draw a card. So again, with Donald or with Goofy here, let's say you pay that 2 right here. Well, here becomes a 4/4, and you know, this becomes, yeah, it's +2, so this becomes a 5/6. But if Donald has that, you know, that 6+, so making it from 9, well, you're going from 10, 11, and this becomes 11/6, which, you know, can pretty much kill anything in the game in a nutshell. But you're doing this here because, you know, you want a little bit of a draw power. Again, you could play that $50 card of, what was it? Excuse me. Of Rapunzel, but again, that's $50, and this is more of a budget thing. So I included this in the talisman just maybe get a little extra card or 2. But still, like I said, the idea is that you could do 2 of these, pay 4 ink, and, you know, draw 2 cards just because you use these guys for challenges. But what if they got banished in the challenge? Well, in the talisman card, which is cost 3, would be and this is what it is here. So it's a cost 3 card. Excuse me. And this is what it says here. So, source of magic. During your turn, when one of your characters is banished in the challenge, you may draw a card. So again, like I said, this is a passive ability. You know, it's gonna happen. Let's say you crash into someone and all that stuff. Well, since you have 2 of these here, they don't cost anything. They're passive. Well, you get 2 cards out. 2, you know, drawing 2 right here. Or the idea is you can pay 4, draw 2. Have Goofy or one of your other characters crash into someone, and let's say Goofy dies, or Donald Duck dies, or whatever. Well, you could probably draw 2 just because of the talisman. So, no, it's kind of making like a quote-unquote pot of greed, so to speak, just for, you know, doing that sort of thing. Again, it's a foolproof? No, but it is like a budget way to get draws while you're getting lore out of Goofy and just having Donald just swinging on things, and you can heal him up and such. So there's that. But now we're gonna get into what will make this deck make the characters become a pain in the butt more just to deal with before we get into our actions. And again, you could probably play 2 to 3 of these cards if you wanted to, and that is going to be our Legacy the Treasure Planets ship, the RLS Legacy. Again, you gotta play 2 or 3 of these depending on how you want to build this deck. This is a cost 4 uninkable. Movement is 3, and health is 8. But what's cool about this is the following. So, when your characters are here, they gain evasive. So, you know, we're talking about your Daisy Duck that doesn't have it, or some other characters that don't have it. They can gain evasive. So it's like a little bit of protection. It's not as good as I want to say like Ward is. I think Ward is like the best protection in the whole game when it comes down to this. So again, at least for, you know, Ruby, you have evasive that just makes it troublesome for characters to deal with. But what's nice is this here. So you have a character here. You pay 2 less ink to move characters of yours here. So you pay the 3, right? You pay 3 to have one of your characters be right here, right? But now you have this when it goes down. Oh, okay, we're going to subtract 2, and this becomes 1. Now the movement becomes 1, and now this is where you can have a whole, let's say you have a whole bunch of ink, and you can start to have characters just be gathering up our location. And now all these non-faces become a face of and such. And again, I like this card a lot just because of that fact of it gives you some kind of protection, at least. But like I said, overall, it is, you know, better than nothing. And I know if I was making a pirate deck, I probably would use this card still over the Jolly Roger. I know that might sound crazy to some people, but yeah, that's just me, what I would do if I was making a pirate deck version. And I might do one of Mickey Mouse in them, but again, I don't have enough cards to do a pirate theme deck here, so that would be what later on I would do. Now, finally, we're gonna get into some of the meat of this, of the actions and song cards. So let's get on with it. So we are playing right here. We're playing 3 of Paint the Roses Red. This is an action song. Cost 2. And this as an FYI, so if you have any characters that, you know, are more than what the song is worth cost-wise, you can just play it for free, and your characters will just sing that and such. So just as an FYI, in case if you're wondering how that mechanic works. But we're not really playing singers, so that's not anything for us to worry about. Anyways, here, Paint the Roses Red. Up to 2 chosen characters gets -1 this attack, and then you draw a card. Now, this can be a good utility thing just because of the fact of you can lower down attacks of, your opposing characters, and then, draw a card for just, doing that. And the idea with Paint the Roses Red is that not only are you just, let's say, crashing into lower end characters, like Daisy right here, for example, and you have Goofy. But what you can do with Paint the Roses Red is just -1 here, or have a 2 go down to 1, so he's not taking as much damage. And just for doing that, challenging, getting you 2 lore, you gotta draw a card for just doing that as it is. And again, Amber has a lot of those kind of colors where, a lot of cards where you're gonna start to search for your deck and draw some kind of cards. Again, this is very budget friendly, so this is, like I said, if you really wanted that for Amber, you will be having to spend money on that Rapunzel card, and people know what I'm talking about. It's that $50 or plus more card here, and I'll throw it on screen if people are wondering. Next, right here, another searcher like how it was with our Drummer Mini is going to be Our Guest. We are playing 3 of them, and this is going to be a 2 costing card right here, and another code that's sort of like this would be like Sapphire's Vision of the Future, except instead of with 4, it's with 5 cards instead, but it's kind of similar. And it says this here: look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal a character card and put it into your hand. Put the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So again, if you just wanted to see what other cards that you may have coming, like any other character cards or whatnot, again, just like Drummer Mini, this is kind of like that, except it's just limited to 4 cards from the top of your deck and so forth. So those are kind of like our 2 cards that we will use to draw into. But now, for a little bit of utility, we are going to be kind of mean, and we're going to play 3, well, yeah, for now anyways. We'll come back to one more of that. We're playing 3 Bare Necessities. And again, this is a good card to have. This is the cost 2, and Bare Necessities says chosen opponent must reveal their hand and discard a non-character card of your choice. So, just like any other TCG game, like Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is where I'm coming from, what it says, you can look at your opponent's hand and then be like, nah, I want you to throw that away here. Not only is that big, but this right here will give you an idea of what you're going up against. Because again, you are revealing the opponent's hand, seeing what they have, and then taking like a possible key thing away, so that way they cannot play that card. And again, Bare Necessities is a very good card for ripping. Cards right out of hand like that. Another example that is like this would be, I think it's in green. I think it's either 2 costs or 3 costs, but it is that Ursula that says if you have any, like, I think it's song cards or non-character cards, you can just take it out of your opponent's hand and discard them. So again, this is a good way to get information about your opponent's hand, and again, just giving this deck a little bit more utility, as it is. Next here, I thought we were done with drawing cards, but I was wrong, and that's okay, because, you know, this is just another way of healing, and it is heal what has been hurt. And I would say this, I have a foil card of this, and the foil is beautiful with how this glowing hair is and all that stuff. It is a beautiful card, just FYI. So if you ever want to get a foil card as a non-character, this is one of those. I would say that's actually cool for foil. Anyways, this is a 3 cost right here, and this removes up to 3 damage on a character, and then you draw a card. So just like how it was with, you know, oh, sheesh, you gotta be careful not to knock my freaking camera around. Like how it was with, like, you know, lowering down attack here with Pandarosa's Red and such. Well, this is a good way of us, you know, being able to get an extra draw just for, you know, healing. And if you were wondering, yeah, this is what I would be calling like a budget version of that $50 card of Rapunzel. But again, that one can do a lot more draws in this game, but again, very budget, as it is, like this whole entire deck is, you know, just for anyone to pick up and play. Next is, we have 2 of Hakuna Matatas. Now, just as a heads up, there's a reason why I only have 2 instead of 3. And it goes like this. So this is the cost 4, Hakuna Matata. Removes up to 3 damage from each of your characters. So if you just need a whole entire board heal, that's what Hakuna Matata is here for, along with if you want to tap with, we'll tap this here with the healing potion card, and then if you have mini out here as well, you have this mini out here to quest to heal people. You can heal a lot by just doing that, but like I said, I only play 2 of Hakuna Matatas just because of the fact of, you know, I don't think you need a whole entire board here all the time, but if you do, it's just nice to have just as a just in case. Now we're getting into what I mentioned about with, let's bring them out with our Mickey Mouse card right here, and we are playing 3 of Just in Time. And this is actually good for us because right here it's a non-inkable, it's free, and then it says this here: you may play a character with characters that cost 5 or less ink. So this is the big card that I was talking about here. I replaced this card with from Lantern and Pluto with this, just because of the fact of this is what's going to happen. So the idea of this is, if you remember, this Mickey here will have you pay 3 less for, you know, of your character cards. So again, let's say we wanted to play, you know, Brave Little Tailor Mickey. Well, let's say we excuse me, we only have 5 ink here, right? Or 5 or 6 ink, right? But we don't have, you know, 8 to play with this guy. So what we will do is we will quest with him, have it, you know, cost 3 less ink, and, you know, if we do this here, minus 3 minus 8, or 8 minus 3, so 6, that's 5. Then you play Just in Time here, and then boom, you get your big body right out here like this. Again, I'm not going to say it is like the perfect way of doing it, but it is just one of the ways that we are making things cheaper in this deck just to play them. Again, you could display Lantern if you want to have an item version of doing that just by tapping, and I would say that's probably better than Pluto in that case. But like I said, it just depends on how you want to go about doing this. And now finally, our last card in this these last cards here in this whole entire deck is going to be 3 Dragonfire. Now, Dragonfire, very simple enough. 5 inkable, banishes a chosen character. So unless they have Ward, You get rid of your pesky, evasives or whatever, and be like, hey, you see that character? Dead. So I mean, Dragonfire is more or less, pretty a simple effect but powerful. If you really wanted to, and if you're okay with doing that, you could do like instead of three of this, you could do two and then one be prepared, or do three of this and then one be prepared if you wanted to. But I like Dragonfire better just because of the fact that if I want to keep my people on, unless if I really, really, really need to, and then it would suck. But at least I can do a big old board wipe as it is. So, other than that, though, this has been, my new version of the Mickey Mouse deck here as it is. This is a very budget-friendly build. This is just, giving some characters some spotlight here. Just, it being a cheap deck. Like I said, this is Amber Ruby. This is just for fun as it is, a $50 card and everything. So, again, like I said, it's budget, it's casual. And if you were looking for something like this, just, be like, hey, I just want to get into the game, but I want to do this very casual, like with some friends or family. That's what this deck is for. If I really wanted to show off my pet deck, I would, which costs hundreds of bucks or more. I'm not going to worry about doing that. What cards would I switch out here if I needed to? Well, if I wanted to, like if I wanted a discard thing, Amber has You Have Forgotten Me as one utility card you could use to switch out for something else. Like you can switch out like Hakuna Matata out where You Have Forgotten Me, so that way, your opponent has to discard 2 cards from their hand if you want to get some more utility. Amber has a lot of that there. Or another thing too is if you really wanted to have another item card but play it as well. Another one I would suggest maybe going for, depending on the idea you might have, would be Maui's Fish Hook. And this can give this can give any of your characters the following right here. So Maui's Fish Hook is free. Right here, this is, if you have Maui, you can just play this card for free. But since we don't, we're going to be looking at the bottom right here. So, Shapeshift. You tap this, pay 2 ink, and choosing character, and you choose one. Choosing character gains the face up until the start of your next turn, or this character gains 3 plus attack here. So, if you really want to add to this here, I would say you could take out Hakuna Matata, add in Fish Hook here, and that way, anytime you tap this to pay more for it, or so, or you can switch it out for the medallion weights if you don't need that card draw like that. Again, this is a good way to get a face up early out, just for someone out there in case if you need an important card to be there. So this is another card I would say you could switch that out for, depending on what you're going for with this Mickey Mouse deck. But other than that, I hope you all have enjoyed this. I enjoyed talking about this here, and I'll talk to you soon. Alright, peace out.